I was 15 when my mom married Rick. At first, he acted like the perfect stepdad. He would smile a lot, buy me little things, and act like he cared. My mom was happy with him, so I tried to be polite, but deep down, something about him never felt right. It was in the way his eyes stayed on me a little too long, or the way his smile would appear at times when there was nothing to smile about. As weeks passed, the strange little things started. I would wake up at night to use the bathroom and find him sitting on the couch in the dark. No TV on, no phone, just sitting there staring into nothing. When I asked why he was awake, he would only say, "Could not sleep," without looking at me. Then came the nights where I woke up to see his shadow in the hallway. He would just stand there watching my room. Sometimes I pretended to be asleep, praying he would leave. Other times I made a noise or turned on my lamp. That always made him step back into the darkness. He never said a word. I begged my mom to let me close my door at night, but she told me to stop being dramatic. "He is only trying to make sure you are safe," she said. I wanted to tell her safe was the last thing I felt, but I kept quiet. She loved him and she would not believe me. There was one room in our house that Rick always kept locked. It was at the end of the hallway, and he told me never to go inside. When I asked what was in there, he gave me this weird smile that made my stomach twist and said, "That is my space. You do not need to know." After that, I avoided even walking past it when I could. One night, my mom was working late, and I was alone with Rick. I stayed in my room the entire evening with my headphones on, pretending to watch videos, but really I was just trying to block him out. Around midnight, I heard something. Scraping. A dragging sound coming from down the hall. I took off my headphones and my heart started pounding. It was coming from behind the locked room. I grabbed my phone and slowly walked toward the sound. The door that was always locked was open. My hand was shaking as I pushed it wider, and a smell hit me so hard I almost gagged. It was like something rotten mixed with a sickly sweet smell that made me dizzy. Inside the room was nothing like I expected. The walls were covered in photos, hundreds of them. Some were taped, some pinned. They were all of different girls. Girls I had never seen before. Some of them were smiling. Others looked terrified. Some looked dead. On the floor were boxes filled with more pictures, torn clothes, and things I could not even bring myself to look at for long. I felt frozen, like my body would not work. Then I heard a voice behind me. "You were not supposed to see that." I spun around, and there he was. Rick was standing in the doorway, his eyes wide and unblinking, his grin stretched unnaturally across his face. He stepped closer, and I backed up so fast I almost tripped. My breath was stuck in my throat, and I could barely get my legs to move. When he reached out his hand, I finally snapped out of it and ran. I ran past him down the hall and slammed my bedroom door. I locked it, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped the lock. I could hear his footsteps stop right outside my room. Then silence. I sat there, clutching my phone, too scared to even call. When I finally looked under the door, his shadow was there, unmoving, like he was just standing and waiting. After what felt like forever, the shadow was gone. I called my mom, crying so hard she could barely understand me. She rushed home. But when she arrived, Rick was gone. The room at the end of the hall was empty. Completely empty. No photos, no boxes, no smell. It was like none of it had ever been there. I told my mom everything, but she said I must have imagined it. She said Rick had left to cool off. I knew she did not believe me, and deep down I think she was too scared to. That night I locked my door and kept the lights on. I stayed awake as long as I could, but sometime around 3 in the morning I drifted off. I woke up to a soft tapping on my window. At first I thought it was just a branch, but when I turned my head, my blood went cold. Rick was outside smiling through the glass. We moved out a few weeks later. My mom said she left him, but I know the truth. No matter where we go, I still see him sometimes. In the corners of rooms, in reflections, and always at my window at night. I do not think he will ever stop finding me.